How to understand if I like her. Hello everyone. Today we will talk about signs of liking that a girl might give you. What are these signs? How to consider them? How to decipher them? And finally, what to do with them. So the first thing you need to know, these signs of liking or indicators of interest, depending on which terminology you prefer, are something very important, natural, ingrained in us. Often these are our automatic reactions, whether cultural or biological. But these are also things that should not be given too much importance. Since these are signals being sent to you, often everything goes to hell precisely at the moment of their reception. That's why I say you need to approach all of this with caution. Some say you absolutely must wait. Use the rule of 3 signs of affection. 3 completely different signs, not the same one 3 times, because otherwise it supposedly doesn't work. Well, why not? I would say 3 is good. It could be a lot, it could be a little, but still, if you notice 3 signs, act. You're not going to spend all night on this. I just want to return to this story about repeating the same sign 3 times. Guys might get confused when I say this, but you need to know, we women are not naturally inclined to push or insist. If we try one thing and don't get a reaction, we won't repeat the same thing. We'll try something else. That's why I often say, not 3 times the same thing, because that makes us less confident, and it's unlikely to happen intentionally. It's more likely to be considered involuntary. For example, we'll come back to this later. If you get stuck on nervousness, if a girl nervously laughs once, twice, 3 times, it doesn't mean she's particularly interested. You need to be able to combine it with other things. Look at the bigger picture so that the analysis is more accurate and nuanced. And I need to add something, a sort of PS to what I just said. Yes, I'm saying that we girls, if one signal doesn't work, we try another. But there are many girls, and that's why I'm telling you. Pay attention, turn on your radars, be on high alert. Because if one signal goes unanswered, we might just drop it. We can be very passive in our behavior. So keep that in mind. I've warned you. Now we can get to the main point. What signs of attraction can a girl send you? You don't know? Great, because I have the answer. So there are signs, let's say, of a biological, physiological nature. Often it's simply our body language, things that are very difficult for us to control. We will, of course, try, but it's impossible to hide them completely. So, the girl who likes you, for example, on a first date will already be nervous, and where there's stress, there's also the fear of disappointing, because there's potential interest. If you don't represent any value to her, then there will be 0 stress, my friend. So, nervousness manifests in different ways. First and foremost, our breathing. We might gasp for air, or our breathing might become heavy. In any case, it's simple here. You see our chest rising. Unlike you, we breathe more with our chest than our belly. But don't stare too hard, or you'll be mistaken for a lustful dog. This nervousness also manifests in laughter, in nervous tics. Nervousness also manifests in laughter. These are nervous giggles, nervous gestures, nervous facial expressions. It also includes, for example, blushing. It is often said that excitement and embarrassment cause a rush of blood, which is why we blush more easily. We react much more acutely to certain stimuli, and we get goosebumps more readily. Another point from a physiological perspective is the eyes. They say eyes are the mirror of the soul. Eyes say everything. And this is true. When you look into her eyes, if there is some excitement, provided, of course, that she is not standing directly facing the sun or a bright window, her pupils will dilate. This means she is more receptive to you and is looking at you in a special way. This also applies to the gaze itself. We are indeed prone to blinking frequently. It's a cliché, but it's true. We will blink much more often because we are trying to hold your gaze. All of this is a physiological reaction. Of course, everyone is built differently, but generally, the picture is this. Pay attention to nervousness and the fact that despite it, she still looks happy to be near you. In other words, she's not nervous because she wants to escape quickly. Do you understand what I mean? A more direct, or at least simpler way to interpret signs of female affection is to listen to what she tells you and how she says it. This is because a girl doesn't always voice everything she thinks. You really need to pay attention to her delivery. Is there a hidden meaning? Is she saying the opposite of what she means? You know, we often tend to say the opposite of what we think, simply because we don't dare to say it directly. Regarding the conversation itself, an interested girl will make an effort to keep the communication smooth. She will ask you questions, keep the conversation going, and try to avoid awkward pauses. A girl who likes you will provoke you to make a move yourself. It's still difficult for us to act directly. We like you, that's clear as day to us, but still, you must take this part of the journey to ensure reciprocity and avoid rejection. We will seek your approval. For example, after saying something, we'll add, "What do you think? Do you agree?" Or, for instance, we will try to encourage you. Sometimes you sly ones, you deliberately downplay yourselves just so we'll talk you out of it. And it works flawlessly. If we like you, we'll say, "No way, you're exaggerating. That's not true. You have this and that quality. And this is a sure sign of affection. If a guy puts himself down and we don't care about him, we'll let him do it. We won't care. We won't rub it in, but we also won't rush to talk you out of it or say the opposite. I'm not urging you to deliberately play down your strengths, but if during a conversation you admit to some small weakness and the girl immediately rushes to help and support you, that's a great sign. But don't devalue yourself specifically for this. Agreed. We can even give you compliments, albeit a little veiled. Say that we like this or that. If you doubt some choice you've made, we'll say, "No, you did everything right." And some might even be in a playful, teasing mood. So, a girl who teases you and pokes fun at you is a girl who provokes you into reacting, who is interested in you. On the other hand, if we are looking for confirmation or approval from you, it's because we need to feel important. So reassure us. We will ask you questions, sometimes even deliberately put ourselves in a vulnerable position, so that you encourage us, and we are absolutely sure that you like us. Mark my words, if we like you, we'll do everything to ensure it's mutual, and the faster you react to these signals, the faster you show that you understood them, the better. Of course, some guys, especially the armchair experts we both know well, will tell me that they find it amusing to watch a girl flounder, crave approval, and all that. But you need to be very careful with this. If you're not confident yourself, you'll just mess everything up. So if a girl subtly seeks your approval, I'm not talking about a depressed girl who does nothing but whine, devalue herself, and eat chips. I'm talking about elusive hints. React correctly, okay? Please, react appropriately. Another strong indicator of interest for me is if she makes joint plans for the future, near future, midterm. It doesn't matter. If she says, "Next time," "next weekend," if she talks about an exhibition she'd like to go to with you, or if you're talking about a sport you play and she replies, "You'll teach me sometime," push her in this direction to see her reaction. If she herself suggests meeting later and sees you together in the future, that's just a great sign. The most obvious sign, straightforward, is when she asks if you have a girlfriend. Okay, just act then and don't hesitate. Another way to provoke a display of interest, for example, when you approach a girl you don't know to introduce yourself, don't immediately give your name. If she asks you what your name is herself, I bet she's interested in you. Some people use so-called compliance tests. This is another method to elicit signs of affection from her through active actions. For example, when you're drinking with a girl, if she agrees to take a sip from your glass, it means, a priori, she has no problem with exchanging saliva with you, and therefore the deal is sealed. Or if you touch her hand, or more precisely place your hand on hers, and she doesn't pull it away, and if you start gently stroking it, and she doesn't flinch away, and even more so if she reciprocates the caress, bingo, you've won. Regarding her behavior, there are things she will do consciously and others unconsciously. This doesn't matter to you, intentionally or not. It's enough for you to simply notice the signals she sends. Behavior is everything her body transmits. Body language. For example, when your bodies start to synchronize, as do your actions overall. This is mirroring. You do the same thing as the other person. Consciously or not, you adopt the same words, the same communication style. in general, as soon as you start copying each other, intentionally or not, it's a sign of liking. Be attentive. See if she is primping for you, if she wants to attract your attention externally. That is, has she dressed up? Here could be joke number 2 about showing off her butt for the camera. But even if it's not about makeup or clothes, it will still show in her posture. She will try to present herself in the best light. All of this will be evident in her posture. She will try to present herself in the best possible light. She won't slouch or curl up into a ball. There's no point in that. On the contrary, she will most likely straighten her shoulders, accentuating her figure to her advantage. If she gets carried away, she'll turn to you with her best profile, style her hair beautifully. In short, she will do everything to be beautiful for you and to please you. Similarly, she will want to create a positive impression of herself in conversation as well. Therefore, she will try to please you not only externally, she will agree with everything you say. Well, or not everything directly, but with a lot. In short, she will not get into a bottle and look for conflict, and this is also a sure sign of liking. And finally, a sign that she is comfortable with you. True signs of affection begin precisely when a girl feels at ease. She laughs, and she laughs sincerely, because if a girl isn't interested in you, her laughter will be forced and fake. But here, she laughs heartily. She is relaxed. Perhaps she will even adopt a more languid pose, though this is more of a male trait, but you understand what I mean. Or, while adjusting her hair, she will do it in a somehow especially smooth way, not just brushing away a strand. Oops, sorry, I touched the microphone. By the way, since she's comfortable, she'll be fiddling with her hair now and then. These are our usual habits, all these small, unconscious movements that she usually makes at home when no one sees her. She'll start repeating these little habits of hers in front of you because she feels at ease. That's it. Now you know how to recognize these signals. You've received them, and the logical question arises, how to react to them and what to do next to take the conversation to a new level. But that's a topic for another discussion.